Okay, so couldn't record last week because I had a bunch of tooth pain, but I thought maybe I'd go live today for a bit because. So let's see if I can grab the YouTube link for this. Where would I get that? Safari. We already have one person here. Welcome, whoever that is. Just finishing setting up the stream right now. Do some research, work on the newsletter for PKM stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Live. Currently live. Get your link. Here we go. Discord off, it takes forever to open, so we'll get to that eventually when it opens. There we go. Man, Discord is so slow on macOS. It is terribly slow. Let's drop that information into a few spots and see if we get some more people come up. There we go. Where else can we do it? Is there a self-promotion in the Mac Stories channel? There is a self-promotion in the Mac Stories channel. And in the Relay channel. We're up to 4 for a minute, and now we're back down to 1, so, you know. If you got questions, put them in chat. And I will do my best to get to them. Yeah, well, it totally worked out. Well, I don't know how to say your name. This person right here worked out to do some today, so we are doing it, although it's been a while. So we're gonna go through some research, go through my RSS feeds. Plan to go through some of the stuff back here in DevonThink that you see. Back here in DevonThink. Yeah, just go through my RSS feed, see if there's anything for the Pkm Weekly Newsletter that I should deal with. Yeah, that's what we're doing today. About an hour-ish, about noon local. It's about 11 now, so. If you have questions about Obsidian Craft, Pkm in general, let me know. I will answer them as I can. Let me know if the system audio is too loud. It looks like it might be, actually. At least for the music in the background. So let me know if it's too loud, and we'll deal with that as I can. First thing we do with RSS feeds is just kind of go through them. What am I going to read? What am I not going to read? new hot coffee is hot, hot. I always think the guest bedroom is funny in a house because it especially in the last couple of years, because you're keeping a storage space for someone else that you literally don't need most of the time, and you haven't been able to use for most of the last couple of years. So. It sounds like Chris wants to move to Europe in some fashion. So. Thanks, Bart. Thanks for showing up. If you have questions, let me know. I'm just kind of doing some research. Yeah, actually, this is normally daily. I just, I read. Can you see my chair? Yeah, you can see my chair. I read that's like a little swing over table that goes over my chair that I built out of the same pipes I use for my bookshelf. So I read The Shock Doctrine for a while, till about 10-ish. And then I did a few little minor things, picked up a package. Now I'm going through the RSS stuff. So I read a lot of it. I read each site regularly, but I don't necessarily read everything they put out. So Strategy and Rest is by Alex Sujung Kim Pang, which did, what is it, Shorter? You probably can't see it. It's like on the bottom down here. Shorter or Rest. It's on the bottom of my bookshelf. Good book. Shorter and Rest, both good books. And he talks a lot about basically why do we need to work so much? Because we don't really need to. The value we create has gone a lot to owners and away from the people actually doing the work. And then Puritan work ethic has forced us to just keep working, because not working is bad. So. I think we'll leave Ben's for later since it's members officially, so I won't be diving into that. If you have questions, let me know. Obsidian craft, research stuff. What do you guys use for RSS? I actually prefer unread on my iPad behind me, but it's not hooked up to stream from, so I do actually more often do my RSS in my iPad. I'm just scanning this to see if there's anything new in it. It's about email. You switch to clean email. I bet you he uses Mime Street. Yep, Mime Stream. So do I. So I use as well. I've been wondering about just streaming a little bit to share Lego builds since I have to rebuild all my Lego at some point because we moved. Spark is the other email client I use on iPad because it's the best one. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do anything there. The prepared, what's on this? If you have questions, let me know. About research. Discord here in the background. I don't want it there really because it's too busy. I'll just put my channel in the background because my channel's pretty quiet. Get Pkm back to the front. There you go. Cool. That's all I'm going to do. Ben's Brooks site. This is Brooks, the Brooks review. I think it's brooks.net. Good stuff, good iPad stuff. Generally, like, he's very opinionated, so I don't always agree with him, but I do like the opinions. So, yeah, now we'll come in here and check out. I got a bunch of stuff in here for Readwise, stop, Stoop Inbox. Reading newsletters, they all get, what do I use for my RSS feed manager? I don't remember, but it lets me, as far as the sync service, Feedbin, I think it has an email. I just put them, pretty much all of them in there. That's what I want. So over here I've got my Pkm Weekly Newsletter. You can sign up for that, curtismchale.ca/pkm-weekly. Bring up Safari again. I'm gonna go to YouTube. I watched some videos this morning. No, that was ReadKit, the RSS reader. We'll watch later. Ooh. What did I look at this morning? Bare Notes app tutorial. Share. Copy. This would go under software. Does Bare Notes have deep linking now? That's the question. I actually tried to get into the Readwise reader because I've contacted the company, but at the time they were only syncing with, what is it? Instapaper. And I use DevonThink for other people's thoughts. So, features. Right your way, settings. Do I have Bear installed? I don't. Use cross-note links to build a body of work. Okay, cool. Yeah, I look at the new Readwise reader again. Is it actually Readwise reader? My favorite is Unread by far. It's just so beautiful. Did I sign up for early access? I feel like I did. They're all set. Cool. I'll check that later. It hooks up to Feedbin, then I could use it. What else do they have on YouTube? Oh, I killed it, eh? YouTube. Watch later. Remove. Cool. I watched a few other videos this morning while I was cycling. I want to re-watch this one because I actually just read the book Ikigai. So I will be doing a review of that in a couple weeks. So, yeah, and I'll walk through a bunch of these during like cycling in the morning. I'm my indoor trainer right now. And then I will look at which ones need to get introduced to the Pkm newsletter, chrispkl.ca/pkm-weekly. Free newsletter if you want it. And this is kind of what I do for it. So I'll go through some other stuff later. And I actually have a bunch of articles here that I will go through at some point as well. But what am I looking at right now? How this all happened. So this is just an article. Since the end of World War II, how the U.S. economy was done. So this is one that I want to take notes on. What is we can call it? Happened. What is it? I saw that question. I'll come look at it in a second. 1/24/13. Actually have this automated in iPad as well, which is where we do a lot of this research normally. Template. Hey Rhonda, how's it going? Hope things are going well for you. Copy URL. Paste. That's right, there's no space. Copy my DevonThink link. Copy item link. Paste who's this by. Morgan. What's that? Good. Glad to be here. It worked out this week. So I couldn't record Friday because I had needed to have a partial root canal. My tooth was dying and I was in too much pain. So there's no other videos this week, but I figured I could stream. That's what we're doing. Maybe I'll try to stream when I work on the Pkm newsletter anyways, just because. So right now this is just the first article that's highlighted, so I will go through this and then I'll start working on some other stuff for the Pkm newsletter. If you're curious, I'm using the new LYT theme for Obsidian. Hey Richard, good evening to you. If you guys want to look at this article too, this is the article. Paste it into chat for you. If you got questions about research, let me know what they are. I'm just going through some stuff, which will come up in my Pkm Weekly Newsletter eventually. Well, this is just the first article that I had kind of started to look at, but didn't have time for a couple days ago, so. Turn off my coffee heater. So I looked at those Ember mugs one day, but they're like $200, and I like a cheap salt and coffee heater was like $20. That's what I got. No, thanks. I'm wearing my ATP shirt. I'm trying to think. Underneath here. Nope, Captain America today. Underneath here. It's Accidental Tech Podcast, which is the mug. For those that were curious. Thank you. I don't speak Korean. The closest to Korean I get is watching StarCraft casters interpret Korean. It's the closest I get to it. I do love, and I know this is not Korean, I do love a lot of Asian music though. A lot of times I listen to Japanese trap or other things along those lines coming out of, I would say, that general area of the world. Very good music. I believe my music playlist is actually in a YouTube, like in a YouTube playlist, a lot of it, so. I actually don't use a lot of tags in the YAML header, Richard. What I found is, and this may not be true anymore actually. So I do what's called tag notes. I have a video on this on YouTube, tag notes. And so some of them, like economic policy, should have a tag note. So I'd go tag note, which is generally going to be a note that turns into something more later. And I have found if I type tag note up here, or I used to find, 1, 2, tag note, that it didn't show up when I tried to do searches for it. So I stopped using that, but I just haven't actually changed it. Yeah, tags versus tag notes. So it would get like an event, like the Great Depression will have an event tag on it as well as more of a status or style type of note. And these are, and these will turn into something, right? When I read the shock doctrine this morning, United States and economic policy gets talked about a lot because it's about mostly how the U.S. forced democracy on lots of places, unfortunately, and did it in a way that U.S. multinational corporations profited at the expense of the locals. Trying to decide what right tag. Yeah, it's easy, Rhonda, to just jump around with some idea someone else used. Just do your thing that works for you. I'm just showing you what I do. You do whatever you want. Whatever works for you works for me. As long as you're getting what you need out of it and producing the content you want, producing the better life you want, the better person, that's fine with me. So this is a question based on another book I read. I need to try and remember to go back to that and address it. So The Color of Law talked about how basically black people weren't allowed to participate in this new economy the U.S. built after the war. So. GI Bill. What gives my time is short usually work. Rhonda asks, how do I manage my time? How do you work out your time management with work, reading, books, and exercise? I wonder it gives when your time is short. Most often work, paid work for other people. Because that's what gives. I really need to work for someone else 3 days a week, so that's all I do. So, and that's possibly becoming less. I'll be actually launching coaching for like research methods, building a process that works for you. I wrote that on Friday while I was overnight while I was in massive pain and couldn't sleep. So yeah, so I should be launching that. I just need to work on it. Just didn't want to work on it in public here. Then I'll launch it, and I'll run a course. I need to work out the dates, and honestly, if that goes well, then I won't even need to work for other people. So, and then I'll write a corporate coaching page. I know Eleanor does Obsidian Roundup, has been asked about it, and we were talking about it. Oh, it's okay. It's still actually sore. They only did a partial root canal, so not antibiotics to clear up the infection still. If you're interested in getting some coaching to build a good Pkm system, let me know. We will get to that at some point. I'll launch that. So watch my feed, watch my email newsletter, stuff like that. What do you want in an advanced tutorial, though? That's the question. Like, I could show off a billion plugins for you, but what do you want in an advanced tutorial? You want more workflow stuff? Do I buy a hardcover version? America transforms itself, 1900 to 1950. Okay, book. New book. 124. Yeah, I log a lot of books that are mentioned in things as resources, because, you know, if I get it mentioned like 12 times, then maybe I should actually read it. Yeah, was it Lilia X? Good book. Also a hard book to read, honestly, as a white guy, because you realize how terrible white people are. Again and again. Reading The Shock Doctrine, which you can probably see the edge of on my little shelf over my shoulder. Right there. There's another one. Pow. In that case, mostly America, but Canada as well. North America in general has just been pretty terrible. So Pranav, yeah, let me know what you want as advanced tutorials, because I keep thinking about it, but I don't know what to say. Don't know what else to do for you. In some ways, like advanced tutorial will come up with, or advanced one-on-one help can come up if you do the coaching that I'll be launching, probably by the end of the week, I would hope. I really just need to go over some testimonials that have come in, and then I need to go over my my copy, make sure it's good. That's an interesting one, because now gains are not shared more equally. Yeah, so I've done a bunch of the plugin tutorials just on YouTube in general, and I can add like plugins as single tutorials. If I put a bunch of those together as an advanced plugin tutorial, I could do that, and I'd sell them on my own site. I'd also put it on Skillshare because it makes money that way too. Yeah. I have been, as I've been doing a bunch of my plugin things later, I've been linking it to my course information so that I can come back to them at some point. So my next course is going to be craft, though. That's interesting. Any other questions about research, let me know. Try to answer them as we go. Yeah, I also link like most people that I mentioned that are kind of famous, just in case I ever want to come back and maybe I want to write about Martin Luther King, although I find that doubtful. Maybe I want to read more about it so I know more about it. It's probably better. The Greatest Generation is mentioned right here, so we'll tag that as well. Baby boomers as well. And research questions, let me know what they are. Well, this point here is the biggest difference between the post-war economy that we saw the economic difference go into owners is actually pretty similar to what we read about the shock doctrine, where the U.S. brings democracy to lots of places, so that because the economics that they wanted weren't happening, U.S. corporations were having a bad time because they were going to like privatize industry, stuff like that, in say South America, Southern Cone. And so they stepped in and basically made it so that couldn't happen, and the wealthiest got all the money and the poorest got slums. I was actually just reading about the Sri Lankan Tsunami and how that has happened there too. Like the people that are displaced right on the beaches, the locals didn't get any money. They're in shanty towns. They're still like in bad spots, but hotels got a pass to build real close to the water that the locals who had lived there for generations were never allowed to do again. So. So Richard asks, since discovering Obsidian, I'm doing far more research and far less writing, although the writing is better for it. How do you balance research with actually writing, producing your own stuff? So the biggest thing I do, Richard, is have a schedule. I write for my members, curtismchale.ca/membership. If you do the course members, actually if you just do the newsletter members, you get it too. I write a weekly newsletter. Honestly, about stuff like this, even economic policy, kind of what's interesting to me, what I'm researching. Yeah, I do that every week. That's how I do it. I also, like, generally Mondays, right now I'd actually be writing my posts, my content, my scripts, researching stuff that I would do on Fridays. That I'd record on Fridays. Didn't record last Friday, so I don't have to write because I've got extra time, as I've said a couple times, because of my tooth. So I just keep scheduling writing time. This probably is also the thing that I feel like I miss the most. I have a large research project to write about community, like how you build a strong community from infrastructure to like relationships, and I haven't been able to work on that in a while. So I'd love to. I keep getting resources and other things to go towards it, but I haven't actually kind of dug in and really written the chapters, written the work yet. So I need to do that. It's hard to balance, especially since, I got to work. I got kids to take care of after school, because my wife works after school. She's a figure skating coach and teaches after school. So it is hard to do. Ideally, I would take 1 or 2 mornings a week to work on it for a couple hours, to work on writing, say, a big project. And the last book I wrote, I took every Monday and just didn't answer anything and just worked on the book. So that's what I would do ideally, and I'm doing less good at that, admittedly, lately. So give yourself a schedule. I actually did a writing dashboard video just recently as well, so that may help too. If you use the Activity Stream plugin, you can start to track like what kind of progress you're making, and maybe try to just do something every day. That's what I noticed too. If I'm gonna, I don't know, we used to have a running goal or a riding goal or something in the year, the best thing to do is just make a little bit of progress every day. Even if, I don't hit the, say, 27K a day to hit 10,000 kilometers for the year. But if I hit 5, right, and then if I ride, if I have 50 on another day, then I'm still, ahead of the game. So make a little bit of progress every day is what I'd say. Even if it's like 20 minutes, just do it. Yeah, regular published schedule, that's it, right? And I usually have that, like I said. I just couldn't record this week, so that's what we're getting. I thought I had the Joneses. Keeping Up with the Joneses, I do have that. Yes, Renath is right. Just regular publishing schedule. Put out something every week. So. So Richard, do you have like, what about a summary? Like, do you have a newsletter? Do you have someone you can, I would say, report to, Richard? And say like, oh, I worked on this today, right? So something that is good to do. I did it in Scrivener. I don't even think I have Scrivener installed. I don't, because it's not great anymore. But you can use the, what is it? Oh, plugin. What was it called? WordSprint plugin, right here. So you can use the WordSprint plugin in Obsidian to give yourself like 1,000 word a day, or what's your goal, right? Daily word count goal, 1,000 words. So this works best though if you are writing in a dedicated database. So do an update to your newsletters every week. Say, hey, this is what I worked on right now. Here's the ideas I put down. Here's what I was struggling with. Do an update. Give yourself some accountability for it. I don't know, so that's really what I need to do as well. Though I'm trying to get the craft course out, so I would like to move to just having my courses, doing this type of stuff. So that's what I'm focusing on more than the community project. I'd love to make progress on that, but I think that will have to come after I have other financial things in place. So that's what I really have the time to work on. I think the other good thing about that, Richard, is that it gives you a, what is it? It's like marketing, right? Getting people excited in your book. Marketing, they can keep diving in. It's good content to get the right type of people for your book in theory, because they're going to be interested in the topic you're writing about. So, what are you writing about? Do you have a link to your book? I know you can't put up links, actually. Well, what's the title of it? If it's up on Amazon or anything for pre-order, or if there's a way, tell me what your site is with spaces, because it won't let you do like a full URL. There's a chatter. I'll totally direct people to it in the chat, paste it back in there for you as we find it. Signaling theory of education basically says I'm going to sit longer than you in school, so I'm a better employee. The case against education, which I believe I reviewed. I definitely read, but I believe I have a post on it, video on it, is what that's about. Signaling theory. It's actually a good, signaling theories in a lot of things. I will sit better than you. I will put in more hours than you at work, so I'm clearly a better employee. Doesn't matter what I did. I signaled that I was a better employee by looking busy and by sitting longer. I actually just got a book about, what's it called, The Lie of Meritocracy? Let me get it and I'll show you. Tyranny of Merit. I just picked that up on the weekend, actually. Tyranny of Merit from the new local bookstore. Not as good as my old local bookstore, to be honest. Oh, it's not focusing. Why is it not focusing at all? That's my camera, but oh, there you go. Now we're focused. I'm gonna go for Tyranny of Merit. There you go. I'd like to read that book at some point soonish. Okay, another question here. Kovilo asks, when creating Obsidian notes, if you want to create a new note file, do you put it in brackets? You will always add a template to the file, or at least something to the file. No, I don't actually always add something. So you can actually tell in the LYT theme, the ones that Baby Boomers I added, the Greatest Generation, I've done something before. But unemployment has been tagged a few times and it's not created yet. Quantitative easing was a new one. Meritocracy has been created. You can tell because they're dark or light. So I try to create, oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Quantitative easing is not created, right? Greatest Generation has been created. Signaling theory of education has been created. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Because if I went through and did every single one of these and who is actually Martin Luther King and really dug into it, I'm going to spend all my time not reading the article and creating all these ancillary notes that ultimately it only matters in the realm of my research who Martin Luther King is if I'm going to do a project on Martin Luther King. So it's better that I have a note in some fashion related to him than I have the exact actual file created on my database. Martin Luther King matters totally, but in the context of the research that I'm doing, then I don't worry about it. So same with baby boomers. It's a generation. I know that if I really need to do a project on baby boomers, I will go in, I will look up Wikipedia and say, what defines baby boomers? What, right? They are the children of the greatest generation, stuff like that. I'll go about that. So that's how I do it. As always, you do you. But this is an interesting thought from Occupy Wall Street, Brexit, and the rise of Donald Trump. All different people saying, let me off the ride. I think with Donald Trump, you'd see, I'm going to, wild generalizations here, Midwest. Made me think of, what is it? Hillbilly Elegy book, where you saw like manufacturing go elsewhere and they're saying, hey, the economy doesn't work for me now. So MLK and Martin Luther King. Actually, that's a good idea. So for Martin Luther King, if I came across him as MLK, I actually would create the file. And what I'd do is I would go like this, and I'd say YAML. I would go into aliases. This is going to be done for me now. 2 spaces, MLK. So now I have my Martin Luther King, and I'd actually tag it as people, because he's a people. And then later on, I could do a proper, the aliases work backward. I'm not sure what you mean. So occasionally I do find that, this goes into tags one, because it's a tag note. Tag note just lets me filter it out if I don't want it, and then back. I do actually find, I found this today when I was reading the Shock Doctrine, where I had like, you see capitalism, capitalist, stuff like that. I'm not actually using the right tenses on it. Like I just want linking to the concept. I don't care if the sentence reads right. So yes, aliases, if I've mentioned MLK anywhere else in a note and have not linked to it, then it will work. If I have a separate MLK note, it will link to the separate MLK note already, so I have to actually go into that MLK note and delete them and link them to the new aliased version of it. So, and you can tell, what do I have? Capital, so you can see capitalism, capitalist, and capitalism, and I actually have another capitalism ones, but this one here is the aliased version. So if I went into capitalism, opened it, see there's no YAML here, so I actually need to go into it, and under backlinks for capitalism right there. So I've got a few here, so I actually would need to go into, say, split horizontally, and I would go here, capitalism, and I would actually need to update it. So I do need to go back and come in here and say capitalism right there. So now it's that aliased version, right? I can go back to get there. Another one here, Puritan work ethic. So I did do a mislink here. Capitalism. I can go back again. And the Icarus deception. Come back in here and say. So now this capitalism actually linked out of my notes in Readwise. Capitalism. A little capitalist would have worked as well. So now that I've cleaned up capitalism up here, you can see, I'll actually delete it, and now it should work just fine. So delete, and I was actually reading, what is it, how this all happened. That's how I deal with it. How often do I do these live streams? I did a bunch before I moved. I moved over Christmas time. I like to start doing them again, just figuring out how I do it, fit it in the schedule. So I'll probably do a couple this week though, if you keep an eye on it, because I couldn't record, so I'll probably do one Wednesday, just as a way of, having content on my channel. So that's what I would do. And you saw me do it for capitalism, because I have one. Must have plugins. It depends on what you do. I'm always going to say it depends. If you use mobile a lot, you want advanced mobile toolbar. If you use a lot of tables, advanced tables. I actually don't use that a lot, to be honest. So I go to community plugins first. Activity history you only need if you're going to do my writing dashboard, which I talked about last week. Advanced mobile toolbar you only need if you do a lot of mobile. Advanced tables only if you do a lot of tables. Calendar, if you use calendar. Commits is also for like tracking writing. Cycle through panes just gives you some keyboard commands. That's great. Data view, I actually don't use a lot of data view. Edit or syntax highlighting if you use a lot of code. Footnote shortcut, I really like this one because I use it again. It just lets me hit Shift Command 6, although it doesn't work as well with live preview. So yeah, graph analysis I think is key if you're doing research and you really want to dive through stuff. Hotkeys also really, I think, key. Just gives you better keyboard commands. Incremental writing if you're doing writing. This is another thing. Oh, who was it? I gotta scroll back up now. Richard. If you're struggling to make process incremental writing, I did actually do a video on this a couple weeks back. Incremental writing can be a good plugin to just be like, I gotta write something, so let's do it. Kanban. Again, Kanban only if you're like doing writing, if you want to track projects you want to do. So I actually run my Kanban boards for my YouTube channel in here and for my writing for my newsletter, stuff like that. Long form, again, if you are doing long form writing, great. It's similar-ish to Scrivener. Minimal theme settings, only if you're using minimal. I'm not using minimal right now. Natural language dates, I don't even know if I use it. Note refactor I think is important. It lets you easily refactor stuff. So that's what it does. Obsidian 42 Brat, nobody needs this unless you're like testing plugins like me and like making content out of it. Outliner, I don't use it as much, although if you're doing a lot of outlining, that has good keyboard commands to help you with that. Page count, I don't use that as much either. So I don't need page count necessarily in my stuff. Paper cut. Oh, paper cut is one, if you're having trouble taking atomic notes, it can be really good to train yourself for it, but I don't use it. I've done a video on this as well. It lets you set like a word limit and just cuts the words if you don't do it right. Paste relevant selection, it can be good. I occasionally have found it struggles, or I've struggled with how it's set up anyways. Quick add, if you're gonna automate, quick add's great. Readwise if you use Readwise, yep. Smart random note, I think it's just better for doing your research, although you can substitute with the incremental writing plugin to show you things regularly. Template are good. Yep. Typewriter scroll doesn't work with live preview, unfortunately. Vantage, I'm gonna look into this, haven't looked into it yet. Word Sprint, if you really need pushing Pomodoro timers to do your writing, yep. WordPress, don't use it. I'm gonna do a video on this. You're getting live preview, it's not very great. It's barely passable, is what I would say. So that's what for the community plugins, core plugins. This is more likely we're going to need. You need the file explorer, you need search, you need quick switcher, you want graph view, you want backlinks, outgoing links. I don't care. Don't use it. Clearly tag paint, don't use. Page preview. Yeah, that's pretty good. Although honestly, I've been finding it getting in the way. So maybe turn that off and we'll see if I turn that back on later, or if I forget and have no idea why I don't see page preview. That's also possible. Daily notes, really don't use them anymore. Templates, yep. Note composer. The note refactor plugin's better. Command palette, need it. / commands, yep, awesome. Best on mobile. No, I don't really use it on desktop. I don't use that as status clearly starred. Don't use that either. Markdown format importer. Don't use that either. Zettelkasten prefixer, clearly don't use it. Random note, smart random note's better. Outline, yeah, word count. I'd use that sometimes, just keeps in the bottom. You can see the things I don't use. Open a default app. Workspaces I use. I don't use as much as I thought I would, but yeah, and sync I use as well. File recovery. So that's what I think is important at this moment anyways. So. I used to do these straight live streams every Friday, actually. So I would record my videos live, and then I would do some research, spend about 2 hours, and then I would chop up the videos later. So they're basically live produced the whole time. I don't know if I'm going to do that again because I'm trying to do a little bit better production just for YouTube reasons to increase the channel growth. But I could do other stuff. I don't know, see what other stuff would be. Probably just be this research. I'm doing research. Now you gotta go through and like, someone's gonna watch the stream later and say, why didn't you link all the plugins? I'm not gonna link all the plugins. I've done lots of videos on all of them. If you're interested, search my channel. I've done a video on most of them, so. Income gap. See, this is where I might even say, because in here they actually talked about income inequality specifically. So here's where I might actually split horizontally income gap. And then I'd put in YAML again. YAML. And it's also income inequality. And I would define it later, but it's a tag note. Oh, there you go. I'm going to stop in a bit. That's just my, hey, take your antibiotics so your teeth don't start hurting again. There you go. Oh, I just used Obsidian Sync without the cloud. And you can run your own web dev server, I believe, but I just use Obsidian Sync. I tried lots of other methods. It works the best. So that's how you do it. I mean, I guess you could carry a USB key and plug it in and out, but forget that. I got no time for that. Use Sync. If you're really worried about it, use your own sync system and like encrypt a drive somehow. But I'm not going to look into that stuff, to be honest. Okay, so let's summarize this now. This is gonna actually be a short summary. What is here? I have not tried Logstack. I'm familiar with what it is, but... So you gotta say, I am the type of person, as far as like really diving into something like that, not gonna do it because it doesn't fit my workflow. I'll be aware of it. Have I tried it? I may have downloaded it once and just looked briefly at it, but it doesn't solve any big pain problems in a way that it's like so far over Obsidian that it's worth changing or even worth doing an integration, because I know they both work this similar enough that you can have them look at the same vault. So I'm just probably never gonna do it. So I use Craft as well because Craft is better for like visual stuff. When I'm like, hey, what kind of chair do I want? All these and for my wife when we're researching the house revamp, because I don't love my wood paneling, but it doesn't look terrible, at least on this. Then that's better. But I won't. I'm unlikely to really dive into Logstack. If you like it, if it works for you, use it. I don't go for it. Use it. Use whatever. So Dendron is another one I came across recently that looks pretty cool. As I'm talking to some corporate people about coaching for like their knowledge management in-house, something other than Obsidian might be better. Like Craft might be better for shared workspaces. Other things that have those type of options might be better. Athens, I believe, has that as well. So I'm not opposed to any of them. I'm using my thing. That's what I will continue to use. So. So where I might even go 6. So in not live preview mode, which is what we have now, this 1 would actually drop me all the way down to the bottom. So I could write in here. So I have to do this here, right? Do it myself. 1. Just note to myself. I would see color of law for more, and I've established links between these files as well. Yeah, that's the big thing, Richard. If you don't see a compelling reason, then don't do it. I think 90% of the time, you just have different problems in a new system. So this is like switching my freelance billing systems. I've been a freelancer for 10 years. All these things, you're like, I just got different problems that I don't know how to deal with. So, like I use Harvest. There's things I don't love about Harvest. I just keep using it because why not? Hey, Brian, how's it going? Saw you mentioned me recently. Was it? Oh, no, it was Justin. Sorry, not you. Justin mentioned me on his effective remote work forum. How's it going, Brian? What you up to? I'm just doing some research, just doing an article, and then I'm going to actually work on the Pkm newsletter. I'll put a couple into that, and then I will probably call it quits because, you know, it's 12 to 13 now, and I've got to eat lunch. I could probably go to 1. Probably go to 1 local, and I can have lunch, pick up the kids from school. Cool. I think that's a good summary of it. What else do we need in here? Probably, you know, a lot of things are tagged already, right? The Great Depression is tagged, all these other things. So these notes will come up as well in there. So let's move this to notes, which is other people's thoughts. And we'll kill it for now. Let's open Pkm Weekly, which will be my next thing. And this gets moved into research right there. Oh, database migration, fun. I've done a ton of those. I do a lot of WooCommerce work for WordPress and doing database migration from like crazy old things that nobody has any idea about. So working on the Pkm Weekly Newsletter, like my point right now is not to summarize this article necessarily, although I will with some of them, but we're going to go through it and just like, is this an article that's good for the newsletter or not? You're welcome, Ben. I'm sure Brian says you're welcome too. I'll say you're welcome on Brian's behalf. Yeah, Brian, we should actually get together and see if there's something we can do together. My email is curtis@curtismchale.ca, so I'm sure I could look up yours too. But I wonder if there's something. Just a chat about systems, what we find works. That might be interesting. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. I'm probably going to check email today, though, so I'll get back to it later. I'm terrible at email. Well, I'll say that, too. But it's the best way to reach me, but I'm also bad at it. So it's like I'm bad at text messages. The only people who can text message me regularly is my wife. Everyone else gets muted. So I'm intentionally bad at these things. If you've tried to call me, you get a, hey, my voicemail doesn't work. I don't know how to check it. I totally do. I just don't want to. Oh, I got him mentioned. There you go. Look at that. By, who is this? Angel Rich. I always got to remember, like, I almost missed a job interview call recently, Brian, because I was like, whoops, for like a $50,000 contract. I was in workout mode. I leave it in workout mode a lot. So my daughter, my oldest daughter, is the only one, 11, and my wife can message me. It's the only ones who can come through. So, Bear is great. If you like Bear, go for it, as always. Go for Bear. I used Bear for a while. It was great years ago. I don't know what's in it anymore. I don't have it installed now. But Bear works on all your devices. Hey, Bart. Yeah. Mr. Brian Jenks. Someday one guy was like, oh, Tall Guy Jenks, and I had no idea who they were talking about in chat. This is like November. It's like, who's that? Then they had to tell me it was Brian. Again, the goal here is just to look through it and say, like, what is useful here for someone? Is this useful for the Pkm newsletter? And the answer is yes. So software would go here. Bigger ideas. I gotta spell things right. So this will get filed, though. I do file them still because if I want to go back and find them, I'm more likely to be able to find them in Devin Think. Robert Breen. I'm going to skip these because I don't think these are specific to what I want to look at right now. Workflow is always good. Like even like I've been developer for like, I don't know, 11, 12 years now. And I still will watch like beginner developers like, here's what I do. Because lots of times they've looked at some new tool that I've been just not bothered to look at. So that was actually great. We hired a junior developer at my job last year, and it was great to listen to her be like, oh, we should do this instead. And I was like, okay, cool, why? And she explained it to me, and I said, okay, fine. Because I, like, this stuff works. Why would I change it at this point? So, but she had good causes to change a bunch of our deployment processes, use different tools for some of it. And I was like, great, let's do it. So good to know. I actually watch a lot of workflow stuff on my YouTube channel, on my YouTube time when I'm, like, riding my bike on the stationary trainer indoors right now because it's icy. It was actually minus 47 Celsius when we first moved here. The week after we moved here, it's like, hey, it feels like minus 47. And I'm not riding outside, and that's a little cold. This weekend, minus 1 Celsius, I could do. I should paste this link in there for you too, just in case people want to see it. There you go. My playlist is probably out. There we go. Now it's back. So I use Readwise for my Kindle stuff. I don't use it for the OCR. I actually sit, well, you can see over my shoulder here, right? And you can kind of see right there. It's like my iPad Pro, whatever the keyboard case, that's more like the laptop. And I put that on that table, and that table swings over top of my chair. I sit there and read. So I take most of my notes by hand typing into Obsidian while I'm reading a physical book. Kindle makes sense for like I'm going to read it a little bit before I go to sleep, and I'll take some notes as I go. So, or I was feeling tired on Saturday after my tooth and a bunch of medications. So my wife, we went out to the store. She had to return a bunch of stuff, so I stayed in the car and read for a bit. Tried not to fall asleep before we went out and had a coffee together. And captures. Best pocket articles going to Devon Think. Curation. So the hardest part now in the Pkm newsletter is it still develops like what it is where does this go? This is crafts and Readwise, but it's a workflow thing. So I think I'll link it up here in the bigger ideas. Hey, Justin, how's it going? I was half talking about you a little bit ago because it was you who mentioned me in the OmniFocus thing recently in the forum. So that goes in there too. Just done recording a video. As I've said many times, Justin, I did not record videos last week because my tooth was in so much pain I couldn't do it. It's actually still a little sore. So we're streaming this week a little bit, I think, instead in lieu of recorded videos. Now I'm just finishing scanning the article, so thanks, Justin. I like my analysis on it too, because I'm so smart. No. Honestly, I've looked at it a couple times again, and I'm like, I can't even do this. How do you even like manage with this? This is so hard. So, and also my task managements maybe has changed. Like I'm not even using things now. I'm just using reminders. And then the notebook behind me here. So, which I've done a video about how I plan my week just around the new year. I did that. So I'm just scanning through this now for the rest of, just to see how it works for me. Or if there's anything good in here that I want to adopt. So we use Todoist, Brian, my wife and I use it for like grocery lists, moving lists, stuff like that. Like, hey, we need to do, like all the address we had to change when he moved. You're on Windows, Justin. I don't know. Can I ban you from the channel now? No, don't care. Always use whatever works for you. Who cares what I use? Who cares what anyone else uses? Use what works for you. I actually have been really tempted to buy a Windows laptop lately. I think some of them they're just really nice. I know the M1 processors, and I'm an M1 MacBook Air right now, are excellent, but man, some of those Windows laptops just look amazing. I was just watching, was it Sarah Dietschy talk this morning about his Dell XPS 13 maybe? Anyways, I looked at it, I was like, man, that looks so nice. Or the X1 Carbon machines, they look so nice. I'd be tempted to put Linux on them, but I'm getting tempted by Windows, and even having a Windows gaming machine, that would be possible on my desk behind me. I do like this in Readwise. He says daily, but the author says daily, but I don't do daily. I do weekly. Arch. I have run Ubuntu. I run Pop, which is the Ubuntu derivative. What else have I run? That's probably it. I haven't been very adventurous with it. Oh, is that like how do you know someone runs Arch? Because they'll tell you. But, how do you know when someone's a vegetarian? They'll tell you. I do love the daily review or the regular review on Readwise, like quite regularly. Even for the video that I didn't record last week, I had a quote come up and be like, hey, this is a great quote for the thing I was writing about. CrossFitters. I used to do CrossFit. Yes, I've heard that joke too, for CrossFitters. It was fun. I liked it when I did it. Made a bunch of friends. Oh, I'm a Vim user as well. Not a vegan. That's it. Vim. I tried so many other editors, but Vim is the one. It just sticks. So that's what I use. I stopped trying a long time ago. Never even looked at VS Code. X, not :Q. X. Save and close. Q, I guess, if you did bad things, but Vim and Tmux. Into like real nerd talk here. Little to do with note taking. Yeah, that's my question, Justin. How does Vim set up? I know Microsoft has done a bunch with like Unix subsystem. I don't even know what you'd say, but like you can run Unix-y stuff on it better now. So I wonder. I don't know what the bigger nerd I am. Brian says. Not so secret, I'm bigger IT tech nerd. Yeah. I started Ikigai. I think that's how you'd say it, about finding your purpose. So I wonder what my purpose, if I could just do whatever I wanted, what would it be? It'd probably be reading. I don't know that I'd program that much, to be honest. I enjoy it. There's fun problems to solve, but I think I'd read and do research, do the YouTube thing stuff, because I like that more. Cool, that was good. There we go. See, if I was going to buy a new computer, right now it would actually be M1 Max 16 probably. So that's what I'd probably buy. Give my M1 Air to my wife. She actually picked the color because it's planning to go to her. So. I was saying to Brian, but Justin, now that you're back at stuff, we should email and do something as well. That would be fun just to sit and talk about whatever. Honestly, I'm talking whatever, like parenting. Talk about bikes if you want to as well. But I often enjoy the side discussions. Oh, ThinkPad. ThinkPads are great. My dad was an IBM guy. ThinkPads are great. I loved the little red nub. Loved it. So, and then my wife's father was a Bell Canada telephone person, so they had like deals on ThinkPads. What is GLASP? See, social web clipper. I don't love something I turn off in Kindle is I don't want other people's highlights. Is this actually like from the GLASP person? Yeah, that's the other thing. I think I looked at a X, I don't know, at a 440 TS or something like that. Yeah, so this is from GLASP. Desktop and browser. That's the hard part. I want to be able to do it on my iPad. I am like super likely to discount anything that's desktop only, to be honest. I want it on my iPad. Probably one of my hard parts if I was going to look at Windows or Linux right now is that I don't Devon thing. Devon thing has like, I don't even know, thousands of stings. I don't like Chrome either. Not even automatic copy right now. For that. Yeah, well. Yeah, I'd like to get it. I just signed up earlier on the stream for it. I talked to them just after it came out because I had just done a thing with them as well. So when they said it just didn't suit the setup I had right now. So we'll see. I'll check my email later. So Justin, are you actually using the new one? The reader one? Ugh. Ads. Go away. Almost totally tempted to like kill these things as soon as I see ads. Oh, is it? Some people complain about it, some people love it, so. I'm honestly not going to change it. So if you don't love it, Justin, don't watch. That's what I'm going to say. So I say to most people. People complain, like, I hate it. Yeah, I'm using a Moonlander. I don't have my overhead camera set up ever again. So with silver switches. What is it? Kale silver switches, I believe. So I have a whole bag of them again to put in something. I have an RKA84 behind me. Yeah, Royal Kludge 84. Works okay. And then I have a Mojo something coming a week or so. So I'd like another ergonomic keyboard. I've actually noticed after Shovel Snow that I live up in Prince George, and my carpal tunnel syndrome has been coming back. So I want another fully split keyboard. So I actually just unplug this and move it over there. So. Mechanical keyboards. You have 4 and Pro 2. I have an N Pro 2 as well. I forget what's in it. It stopped working very well wirelessly, so I stopped using it as much. It's actually over in a box. Ergodox with reds. I have a K2 as well with browns, I think. text should open. Okay, I'll look that up. Oh, that, yes, I've seen this before. I just looked at one recently. What was it? Off Reddit. No. Was it this one? Yeah, I was just looking at this one, actually. It's up for pre-order right now. This is the Lulu something. This is the Canadian site, so you have to look it up. But you got to order like a kit, and it just never seemed very clear to me. Like, see, I have stuff in my shopping cart. Ordered like the full shipping, the split mechanical 224, and I had to build it, but I opted to build the reading shelf behind me instead. So, yeah, for other pals on the distraction. So, if you want to sign up for the Pkm Weekly Newsletter, it's curtismccann.ca/pkm-weekly. I don't use daily notes. I'm really now just deciding if I need to, if there's anything worthwhile in here for me. I don't think it's best for tasks either. Although, as always, if it works for you, do it. I don't care. Twitter thread ideas. Okay, Twitter threads. If you're going to do a Twitter thread, it should always be a blog post. I hate Twitter threads. Hate them. I actually have almost refused to link to them in my newsletter because I hate them so much. Like, you're just giving Twitter the content for free, basically. See you, Brian. I'm almost done. 20 minutes or so. I'm going to go up and make pizza. Should grab this for later. How do you do that again? Clip to Devon, think. Grab that for later. No, it's hot takes. I want more cold takes. I gotta be honest, I actually have trouble even reading online articles a lot. I would much rather dive into a book. I'll skim them. That's interesting as well.
Your work can feel much smoother.
Bah. I'm gonna open this though. There we go. Watch later. Perfect. I'll watch that probably tomorrow morning on the bike. Templator stuff. I don't know. I don't think there's anything more in there for me. I'll stick it in there. Medium. I also don't think you should have anything on Medium. Like, honestly, do a WordPress.com blog and just pay a little bit to them per month for something. Like Medium, you're also locking your content away. So if I read too many Medium articles, I can't read your next article. And you're giving them the content as well. Ugh, forget it. Yeah, own your blog is right. That's right, own your blog, Justin. Heck, my kids all have websites if they want them. They have domains at least. So I used to, and I still actually get a little bit of revenue, like 5 cents a month from Medium. I used to cross-publish, but I don't anymore. Nothing to do with them at all, except for the 6 cents a month I get from them. And then they're like, hey, fill out all these tax documents. It's for like, less than $1. Forget it. I'm not going to bother. I just won't get the money. Hey Lula, how's it going? I'm on for like probably another 15 minutes, so let me know if you have questions about research. I will answer them if I can. I'm working on my Pkm Weekly Newsletter right now. No. Those are all good questions. Thanks, Lula. I appreciate it. I'll probably be streaming this week. I would like to get back to streaming regularly. It's just hard to... We're still kind of, what is it, 3rd week of school, 6th week of living in a new city. So we're still trying to figure out how everything works. I always find my wife's schedule changes pretty much every quarter. And I always find the first couple weeks of her schedule changing when I'm like running kids around. She's a figure skating coach. She coaches after school. Hard. I find them stressful. So it takes a while to get into the new flow. And I think we're into it now. So, and then it gets thrown off with, root canals and stuff. Do I use Obsidian for anything other than Zettelkasten? And not really. It is my reading research, my note-taking research, and my writing dashboard only. I use Craft for home projects. Right, home projects. So if I look in here, test note, that's testing something with Craft and Todoist. Big purchases my wife and I looked at, right? We actually purchased the snowblower, so I can come in here and say heading purchased, and this is better for her too as well. It's more visual. We purchased a snowblower already. Fridge, lawnmower, probably going to go with that. So I will actually create a page, and I actually linked like what was local. What were the local things where I could actually get it, and I ended up bought an Ego to a single stage snowblower. Hey Fabrice, I'm back live. Yeah, so that's what I would use this for. I would use it also for what is it? MySpace. So I'm using it to build the craft course. Clearly that makes sense. I use it to office revamp, right? Gear Tree home studio setup. So right now I have a lighting stand mounted behind here with like my mic and everything. This is another option for that right here. It's an expensive option, but Potato Jet had it, so that was good. So, and I need to revamp this one because this was like for my last desk one. I got the L desk that's behind me that I'm not using now. So I need to revamp this, but this is where I put more visually oriented stuff, more personal things, like say researching lawnmowers, researching bikes. Although it still has many thousands of notes from when I was in craft full time. So it has many, and there are more notes coming in here of the knowledge work variety due to the craft course. So, because I've got, at the bottom, all these things I want to go back through still. So once I go do that, then I would look at, then it would convert more just to how I use it already. So how I use it for like home projects or visual stuff. Anti-net Zettelkasten, I'm not familiar with that. Honestly, do whatever works for you, Lula. Like, if Obsidian doesn't work for you, don't do it. Don't do it because I do it. Don't do it because some other famous person uses it. Do what works for you. So, it's totally survivorship bias. Like, I have a YouTube channel that people watch, so do what I do. I'm just telling you what worked for me. Did I say this one twice? That's entirely a possibility. We just did that one, so Let's file it. Maybe I didn't file it. So when I switched over to Craft, I switched to Craft because Obsidian was not going to have a mobile app anytime soon that they told us about. That was useful to me. I had to use OneWriter, which was okay at the beginning, but not great. And I switched to Craft mainly for the mobile app. And then when they said, hey, we have a good mobile app, I went, well, I wish I didn't switch. But I did not think at the time that there was a good reason to switch back to Obsidian, and because it takes so much work to switch that you don't realize how much time it's going to take. The reason I switched back to Obsidian eventually was because I started doing my writing in a Kanban board, which I can show you here. It's all going to come out. K just as Kanban, doesn't mean anything. Writing, past that. So I started filing Kanban board like this, and as soon as I did that, like the first one I did, I was like, I wish I could link to the notes that I have, and I just converted again. So don't feel like you're missing out on anything. There are good things about Craft. The visual style is far better. Yeah, that's far better. So I don't feel like you're missing anything. Don't switch back just because that at all. What's this? When I talk about favorites. Yeah. Yeah, then don't do it. If you feel overwhelmed, don't use it. Don't feel bad about it just because I use it either. Like, a good workflow is tool agnostic. So a good workflow, I use basically the same workflow in my sort of bullet journal method, my notebook for task management that I use in like TickTick that I've used in things. So a good workflow is tool agnostic. Don't worry about it. Find a good workflow. Use whatever tool suits you best. Then don't do it. If you don't enjoy managing them, because you need to manage them, that's it. Like, taking notes is only one part of it. Managing, doing something with them is the second part. Yeah. So some articles are just interesting to read too, but I don't think that's going to be a useful one for me long term, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to wrap up in about 5 minutes, so if you want more, let me know. What is this? Convert to... I definitely don't feel like you need to have it figured out right now. I don't want that. I don't know why I took these as bookmarks. I want them as web archives because I want the whole copy. Definitely don't feel like you need it all worked out right now. Find one that works for you. Stick with it. Somehow I had things set up wrong, and did not get, for these, I don't want links. I want web archives. Like this. I want the web archive of that. There we go. Oh, I got doubles of that, so let's delete it. So rank and file, this is what I need to read. I'm not going to read it. Probably won't read it on stream, actually, because it's just... takes too much more thinking. I'm not talking. I do too much talking when I'm on stream. And the critique of rank and file. Wow, it didn't work. No, maybe it did work. So if a web archive doesn't come in, I'll just grab it as a PDF, even if it's print to PDF in Mac OS, that's fine. One of the reasons I would like a new MacBook Pro is because we do some beach balling when I'm streaming. I would like to stop that or get a dedicated Mac Mini. That might even be more like my laptop never leaves my desk, so I don't know why I need a laptop. It never leaves my desk. Like, you can feel the dust when you touch my laptop. My wife, however, needs a laptop, so I bought a laptop. And usually they graduate down to her and then down to the children, so I don't know why that's happening. So Devon thing, not responding, force quit. I think what it's called there. So for now. So I did some of my Pkm newsletter. You can find that at curtismchale.ca/pkm-weekly. And then you see I just go through these other links as I go through things through the week, and I'll do that more later. More powerful mini would be great. That is probably what I'd buy if there's, like, again, a Mini Pro, something like that Pro Max. I would probably buy that. If I was going to buy a Pro Max right now, it would cost me, what was it, Apple Store. I was looking at this recently. It's like $7,000. I would get 14 or 16. Honestly, I'd probably tend towards the 14 more. 14 means I wouldn't get as much battery life, and I'd lose a little bit on video processing power, but I'd probably go with the max GPU, maxed that, 2 terabyte. Don't need those. Yeah, so $5,100 plus. Plus. It is expensive, Justin, but I always look at it like, am I going to make it back in business? How much time am I going to save? And I would definitely save time in video renders. I would possibly have better screen casting. So, not screen, this streaming. But, yeah, I just have to see. So yeah, but I would totally look at a Mini. I think the Mini has been my favorite computer so far. So, and this isn't too bad. I've got like a new Visa stand with like my monitor and my laptop's over here. So that's not too bad. I have liked this change, but sometimes I just think you like change. So yeah, I'd look at 51.49 Canadian plus AppleCare on that, at least. Right? Maxed out processor. Maxed out memory. And the thing is, I don't actually need this for programming. I really need it for video editing. And so you got to look at, like, how much does YouTube make me? My YouTube makes me everything I consider coming from YouTube. So all of my course income, any coaching that comes out of it because I'm doing these videos, and YouTube probably would come out to about between 15 and 20,000 Canadian in a year, which is nothing to slouch at. But then to look at a $5,000 laptop, which I'd used for many years, still that's a big pricey thing. Now, if coaching becomes more of the income, if it turns into like most of the approximately 6 figures I make in a year, all of it is coming out of coaching, then by all means, like, just buy the laptop. Wouldn't even worry about it. So, and of course, I got to pay for kid stuff and family things too. So that does factor in sometimes when you buy a new house and you're like, oh, I got to redo the deck and I got to redo a roof. So that does factor in sometimes, but ultimately it's a business thing. It is a very decent income, Justin, for YouTube stuff. So my courses on Skillshare I make just less than $1,000 US. I think it was like $940 US last month. My personal membership and courses, I think, came up to, what was it? I don't remember. We'll call it like 500-ish. And then, what was I going to say? And then YouTube AdSense revenue is, I don't know, like it's like 220 Canadian, 180 US, something like that. This is very good. Talking to some other YouTubers that have like tens of thousands of subscribers, they were like, well, you make what in a month? And it's just the courses. It's the courses on Skillshare. It's the courses on Skillshare. That's what does it. So Lula sings, would you recommend an $8 refurbished laptop for my first one or save up a few $100 for a brand new one? It's hard to tell. It depends on what you need. It depends on what's available refurbished. I think refurbished is fine. Like my 11-year-old daughter, for her needs in grade 6, she uses a 10-year-old MacBook Pro. It's as old as her. I bought it like a month after she was born. That's fine. My wife uses a non-butterfly keyboard, like the last one before butterfly keyboard, MacBook Air, and it's totally fine for her. The kids' computer is my last Mac Mini, which was like a i5 32 gig, which I upgraded 500 gigabyte SSD. So a reasonably new one. So yeah. Courses just do well, and Skillshare does well. That's the big thing. Like they bring people into it as well. So converting my site in November, December over to my own membership has done far better for me than, like, I haven't really dropped Skillshare income, and I added members, and I've been selling my own courses. So this last month, I think I sold like, and one day someone bought like $300 in courses while I was like moving and not working. So that's good, which is why I want to do some more courses and maybe look at some coaching. And I'll do some cohort-based coaching, which I've said already, probably launching this week so you can sign up for it. But yeah, courses do really well. So that's it. I think that's it. You got like 2 seconds for questions, and I'm going to go have pizza because I like pizza. We make homemade pizza every Saturday night now. Since I was like a little kid, I've had pizza every one day a week, Fridays, but now Saturdays because we make it ourselves. That's it. Thanks for joining, Justin. I'm not on. I will open it up. I'm going to email you right now, Justin, if you have an email. Look at that. See, as we talk, like I just, renewal subscription, like I just said, like, so like bringing in $15 a month from renewals is just good, right? So let's do this. Justin DeRose. Thanks, Richard. Happy to do it. Hi. Yeah, I don't know. I would say get the least expensive thing that lets you move forward. That's probably what I'd say. So like my first computer I bought, actually my dad sent me. He was an IBM guy, so he had like spare computers around. He sent it to me when I was in college. And then I literally bought a computer based off a prepayment for a contract. I got prepaid for a contract, and I bought the computer to do the work. I couldn't have done the work before I signed the contract. When am I streaming next? I don't know, Lula. I will try this time to do it, like say something about it early, but I don't know. I just sent that message, Justin. I don't know what I'm going to streaming. I'd like to maybe stream Wednesday, though. I have to look at my schedule. I have some stuff, other work stuff to do. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday would be my next possible streaming day. So that's what we got right now. Thanks for showing up. Yeah, thanks for showing up. Thanks for the questions. Have an excellent day, everyone.